Good evening, folks. Just waiting to see what I see over here. Should just be a moment. One hopes. Okay, there's the advertisement you all have to watch. I'm going to click away from that. Hi. How's it going, everyone? We doing good? Denver sucks in the chat? Let's see. I'm not seeing a lot of Denver sucks in the chat. I am seeing a lot of Ben is running late. Is this not working? It's got to be working. There we go. Okay. Splendid. Perhaps I'm just on a bit of a delay. You guys want to take a look at the sun for a second? Let's do that. I happen to think it's a fantastic idea. I'll stick around with the sun for just a second. Hi. Me. The other one's the sun. And 193 angstroms of ultraviolet light emission emitted by strongly ionized iron in the solar corona. I see a very large coronal hole on the south, facing Earth now, the pre-coronal hole stream solar sector boundary crossing, which is the phi angle flip, the heliospheric current sheet, the sun's version of the galactic current sheet, which causes the disaster cycle. That is actually hitting Earth right now. They always undulate with the coronal holes such that we take impact from the sun's version of the electric current sheet, the solar wind magnetic reversal, right before we take the actual amplification of the physical characteristics of the solar wind by the coronal hole stream, namely an initial density shock wave and then enhanced plasma speed and plasma temperature. Also, top left on the sun there, I'm definitely seeing a very large plasma filament. Hello, big guy. Imagine if that one tore off at the far edge right now and did one of those whip arounds. You know, it's interesting. Solar flare-driven coronal mass ejections usually go straight off. They can burst out a little bit to the sides. When a filament goes, you don't know if the entire thing is going to lift straight up, if one side is going to snap off and it's going to go. I've seen these things go almost directly sideways before. 'Tis peculiar. But anyway, let's come down from the corona down to the photosphere, which is also actually light. We're actually seeing iron here as well, but it's neutral iron at this point. There we go. All right. No real relevant sunspots over there, so I can come over here. These spots, they're not nothing, but they're not really producing, as you can kind of see. Even the spots that have multiple umbras, they're really... Here, let me zoom in a little more on this. There's just not a whole lot of complexity to it. It's really distended. There is a separation of the actual umbra and the sunspots. Obviously, I'm going to keep watching all of the sunspots, but it really can't be denied that there's virtually nothing to see on the sun right now in terms of those sunspots and any kind of significant risk for there being anything. And yet, when we come over to NOAA, and I'm going to actually drop myself down here for a second, you can see that right now there's not much going on, but for tomorrow, and this is all UTC time, so technically this is today UTC time. In terms of universal time, we are in the very beginning portions of Tuesday, November 25th. And so for, I guess, today and then tomorrow, for Tuesday and Wednesday, there is a chance for low-level geomagnetic storms. This is because of what I was just talking about. These two panels up here are the solar wind. This one is 3 days over here on this side. This one is just the last 24 hours. And what you can really see, um, we've got some strongly variable solar wind conditions here. It's nothing really that major, and this is not a significant impact from the heliospheric current sheet. But what this really does tell you is that the coronal hole stream from this opening right here, this coronal hole, is really just on the doorstep. It's going to be here in probably another 24 to 36 hours. It's nothing to be afraid of, nothing scary, but we could see an amplification of the auroras, especially at high latitude. And again, possibly some low-level geomagnetic storm activity. A quick reminder, we are going over the science portion first. If it has been a long time since you've seen one of the live shows, pretty much ever since we began doing this and numbering them and calling them observers live, or things like this, we're trying to get the science portion out of the way first, and then we sort of move into the Q&A. So I do see everyone. I do see what you're typing. It is much fewer early episode questions than usual, but yeah, just wanted to let you guys know the Q&A portion is going to be after we go through all of the science, and then of course the announcements that I like to do during the live shows. So the main scientific topic of discussion today, and the impetus for the title of tonight's live stream. You guys remember this one from a couple days ago? Okay, so do you remember how over the last 2 or 3, and what it's interesting is I don't know exactly what timeline to put on this, because I think the first time I saw this in a mainstream article may have been 4 years ago, but I'm still seeing brand new articles coming out about it. What is it? What the hell am I talking about? Thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. The idea was that Earth is actually tilting a little bit. My big thing is that as the magnetic poles are shifting, yes, we need to worry. The crust doesn't shift until the micronova unlocks it. What we're not talking about is the crust shifting. What we're talking about is the entire planet as a whole is actually starting to Leaning Tower of Pisa impression kind of deal. And it's obviously not something that people can notice. It is so minuscule that you can't tell from the stars or the moon or anything else that it's changed. But scientifically, we can tell that the Earth is starting to dip a little bit. And how are they explaining this away? What are they blaming? Humans pumping out groundwater, or humans pumping out groundwater in concert with the construction of gigantic dams that hold water in certain places and change, the flow and movement and things like that. The observation of the geodesic change is quite sound. The data is not that difficult to understand when you actually go a step beyond just the articles and you go and you take a look at what they're basing it on. The Earth is tilting. And that part is accurate. It's just that, thank you for the teal pair, Barbarian. It's just that it doesn't have anything to do with us taking water out of the ground or building the Three Gorges Dam or anything like that. This is part of a much broader geodesic change that's taking place right now. It is absolutely related to the rapidly increasing rotation rate of the planet. For those who have been here for a little while, we've talked about that. For those who are new here, for the first time ever, we are on track to have what is known as a negative leap second. This is not quite as well known as is it a leap year where you add that day in February, but every once in a while, they actually have to tack on an extra second, 1 second to the clock, because Earth has been rotating slightly too slow for all the time we have ever been watching it. What do I mean by that? What I mean is it takes 24 hours and some fraction of a millisecond. It's just that 365 days a year, year over year, those fractions of a millisecond add up. And for things that require that extreme precision, thank you for the teal pair, that 1 second completely destroys the extreme precision that is needed for certain things. That can be everything from satellite coordination to stuff that's very important for the military. I'm not going to go into all of that right now. The point is, forever, the only thing they've ever had to do is see how slow is the Earth rotating, how much are we just missing, how much are we coming in second place to that 24-hour mark. Adding up those fractions of a millisecond over 24 hours because we're spinning slightly too slowly, and adding a leap second every few years. Well, it's looking like we're going to have to add the first -1 ever. Why? Because Earth is actually speeding up its rotation. And this kind of came out of nowhere. In 2020, out of nowhere, we broke the record fastest overall average rotation year. For the first time, we were actually below 24 hours. But not only that, we broke the record fastest day. So we not only track it over the whole year, but we track every individual day. And we know how long the years were, how long the average days are, what the record this, record that. We broke the record fastest spinning day like 28 times in 2020. It has since been broken like 6 or 7 more times. We have broken the annual speed rotation record for Earth 3 more times. And we are still in the negatives, so to speak, trending towards that. Hey, you're going to have to take a second off the clock. You're going to have to steal a second away from us, kind of thing. Kind of like how annoying it is in spring when we lose an hour, as opposed to gaining an hour in the fall. Or maybe you don't like it. I mean, there's a lot of opinions. I don't give a shit, really. The point is that none of this stuff has to do with pumping groundwater or dams or anything like that. And that has to do with the rotation speed as well. Earth is spinning up faster and faster and faster. Why? Because there's sort of an electric or magnetic motor type aspect to this, and the weakening of the magnetic field in the ongoing pole shift is allowing more energy to come into the system, and it is causing a slight, giddy up to the step, putting a little hustle in it, so to speak. This is also the reason why there has been a lot of confusion and a lot of papers that have come out recently talking about how is the core still in super rotation, or did it slow down? Did the core really stop and start spinning the other way? No, that's not quite what happened. It's just that its super rotation was lost. And so literally from the core of the Earth out to the outer outside, there are rotational anomalies that are directly related to this. The Earth tilting to the side is directly related to this. And what we have in this paper right here is absolutely directly related to this. And it's two things right here. The 6-year oscillation in Earth's length of day, which is directly related to the rotation. When we're talking about length of day, it's how many milliseconds above or below, right? And there is a general oscillation up and down. It's just that the ups lately have taken us into record speed territory. The 6-year oscillation has been showing a decaying trend starting in 2010. And the 8-year oscillation broke down between 1995 and 2000 and has not returned. And they think that's related to geomagnetic jerk activity. And so first things first, big kudos to this team for not even attempting to cover their eyes, grab their balls, and blame humans for this somehow. Well played, University of Edinburgh and the British Geological Society. Well played. Fantastic. They're not trying to blame humans. But let's go ahead and add this into this asinine rant that I have been on for however long I've been talking about this. This is exactly the same thing. These oscillations, they can trace these back decades, like for a very long time. And now it is all breaking down. All of the rules that we think Earth abides by aren't holding at this point. And the breakdown of the 6-year and the 8-year oscillations, yes, of course it's related to geomagnetic jerk activity. Do you know what else is related to geomagnetic jerk activity? The acceleration events in the magnetic pole shift, the movement of the poles, and the loss of Earth's magnetic field. And the 6-year oscillation is actually shortening. Wonder if that's like a countdown, like in Independence Day. You think the Earth would do that to us? Anyway, whether we're talking about the issues going on with the core, or we're talking about these rotational anomalies where, for whatever reason, the Earth has just decided, hey, I'm going to start spinning faster and faster and faster and faster out of nowhere. Not really. Or whether it's the Earth tilting to its side, or whether it is the breakdown of these known oscillations that have held for decades, being directly related to geomagnetic jerk activity, which is part of the process of the accelerating event. It's, for those of you who have heard me go through this whole how many coincidences would you like to ignore spiel before, is this sounding familiar? How many of these things are we going to ignore? At least this crew didn't try to blame humans for this. So, I mean, like, well played there, I guess. But, yeah, it's important that we understand. And how do I say this? Some things are important because they're manifestly relevant in your daily life. Other things are important because of how they inform your brain to think about other things and to draw dots connected to one another. This is the latter. This is something that you need to, ideally, when I posted this a couple days ago, and I was describing these aspects of geodesy breaking down, somebody who has been watching this channel for a while should have immediately thought, wait a minute, the stories about the Earth tilting slightly, the stories about the rotation speeding up, the ideas like Ben's or Roger Cunningham, ethical skeptics, about the Earth turning over. All of those things should be firing, should be triggered in your head when you hear stuff like this. And there are similar connections that, you can make for, like whenever you hear, for example, for those who've been watching, the real SOOGs here, if you were to hear something like on the news, or if you were to come across an article that had said scientists discovered that the El Nino and La Nina oscillation is extremely critical to determining whether or not global warming is happening, I'm willing to bet that more than any other group of people in the world, people who watch this channel go, oh, wait a minute, there's hundreds of papers on how it's the sun that controls El Nino and La Nina, their amplification up and down, which one is more likely to occur when, and how strong it's going to be. Does that mean that the sun is critically important for whether or not global warming is happening? These things need to be clicking. They need to be connecting. This shouldn't just be Ben said a bunch of cool shit and showed a bunch of cool shit in the morning show, and I was worried I was going to die for about 5 or 6 hours, wondering if the sky was going to start falling and stuff. And then, I'm going to bed, reset. Let's do it again the next day. No, they need to be talking. The files need to be talking to one another. And that's what this is. This is a file discussion node of a paper, because this should have a whole bunch of shit that I have been telling you and showing you, demonstrating how they're all connected. It should have them all talking to each other right now. That's how you operate in this. I see a bunch of people didn't see the whole thing about it's not question time yet. It's fun. I don't think I'm really going to say too much about this. Tickets are moving. If you guys wanted to come, jump on it. The winter tour, we are just 5 days. Well, I guess technically, since it's the 25th UTC, we are 4 days from Omaha. The start of the winter tour. If I'm coming near you guys at any point for the rest of the tour, let's do that. Of course, August Dunning is going to have 2 straight weeks at Observer Ranch. The first one, we're going to be not only breaking down how we absolutely do know for a fact that this micronova is a thing. If you can make it, if your kids can make it, you're going to see something. You're going to see something. But also, knowing some of the details about how this should be playing out are very critical. Think about what a revolution it was for you in understanding how important bunkers were when you understood what the microtectites were. That it was literally like the micro atoms of the micronova coming together, congealing, silicon, oxygen, slightly cooling but still being plasmified, raining burning glass from the sky. Biscuit, I just said a couple things about not asking questions yet, and you've asked that experience thing 5 times. You ask it again, you're done talking at the channel. Cut it the fuck out. And yeah, the experience was fucking amazing. I'm talking to the folks on Telegram every single day. They are on it. They are moving. Inspired. Ready to survive. Anybody feel like coming to the ranch? I see what happens to people who take this seriously. It's not just that they get the inspiration and the information that they need. It bleeds over into every other part of their lives. Kind of like somebody who decides they're going to wake up and go to the gym at 4:30 every day. Guess what happens? They start being more diligent at work. Start being more diligent at home. It bleeds over. It's fucking contagious. Being a winner. Doing what you're supposed to do. That feeling of, hey, I like who I'm looking at in the mirror. He does what he's supposed to do. It's contagious. You guys want to come to the ranch? Got something for you. Echoes in Time. End of the 3rd week of April. And of course, you may want to consider living long enough to see the micronova. And some of us, that is about living long enough the best way. Others, it's about just getting there, about not dying. Phoenix Protocol, dry fasting, absolutely one of the biggest movers of the needle in terms of fixing problems and in terms of increasing longevity. I don't plan to promote any really differently than that. It speaks for itself. Of course, guys, I realize that you are all desperately waiting for the documentary to come out, sponsored by goldobservers.com. Here's what I'll say. Perhaps it's advantageous for me to not have everyone knowing when the documentary is coming out, because I kind of think that there's something that's going to happen pretty soon. And I would kind of like these things to align. And you will all be very glad it worked out that way, if that is indeed how it works out. And if not, then it'll just show up when it shows up, and we'll all be happy that it's here. But it is coming, and the final touches are being put on. Basically kind of tweaking makeup at this point, if I had to put a phrase to it. And the reason why everybody's going to see it for free is goldobservers.com. They are the sponsors that made it so No, I'm not selling this to Netflix or Amazon or a film festival or something else like that. And I'm not putting it behind a paywall. It's going to be, on YouTube to watch. Um, if you don't know the benefits of gold and silver now during the descent and in the aftermath of the disaster cycle for their chemical properties, you're behind. And I'll just say that there's a reason why people who are extremely experienced are stacking, if they're rich, gold and silver. If they're like me, at least silver. And right now they're doing price match on silver, which is still, nobody has convinced me that that's not them letting you steal from them. So goldobservers.com. Anyway, I suppose we have come to the question and answer portion of the program. Hello. I have been talking nonstop for 26 minutes. Did you guys hear I was on Dark Horse today? That was cool. I like Brett. Do you guys like Brett? A lot of typing going on. Or question asking for that matter, which is why I'm just kind of sitting here. You believe Hapgood and Thomas would be proud of me? Well, maybe, but Charles Hapgood was a CIA agent, so. The Dark Horse Podcast with Brett Weinstein. And it is Weinstein, by the way. Hi, Joe Peterson. How are you doing, buddy? You ate your pumpkin seeds and watermelon? Wait, did you add something about dark chocolate in there? There you go. Life goals, man. No kidding. Confirmed that the combination works yesterday. And the rest of you can just wonder what the fuck I'm talking about. What does my shirt say? Oh, it's backwards, isn't it? It says, I've read the final chapter. God wins. Sorry if I'm spoiling it for anybody. I don't know if they've posted our Dark Horse podcast yet, but let's just say it's different. It's different. It's not what you'd expect at all. Then what has to happen for you to accelerate your timeline? I don't know. What city am I in? I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Who's Brett? Brett Weinstein. All right. This is ridiculous. You're disappointed he didn't mention me? It's not his job to plug me. What is he, my Barker? No, come on. He's awesome, and he's spoken very highly of me before, and I really appreciate Brett for giving me the platform. I have confidence and faith that eventually Joe Rogan will be like, all right, it's time. You have to invite Ben on now. Yeah, I get being suspicious of Steins, but Steins and Steens and Wines and Weens and Golds and Bergs and Rosens and all of them. And we talked about that. You guys are going to hear it. Yeah. It was that kind of fucking show. Did the John Ho dude ever do the sloshback model? No, he hasn't. You have any idea how hard it was for me to get him to do my model at all? Dude was not interested in The Last Dog, okay? You found this channel because of Dark Horse Podcast? I'm betting it's because of the show I did with him last year because of the solar storm and the Earth's magnetic pole shift. A ton of people found me there. I love Brett. Thank him for everything he's done. Yeah. Does plasma ignite anything it touches on Earth? No. Some kinds of plasma could, but not all. Freeze your bread before you eat it, bro. What? Yeah, spoiler alert. Does the galactic current sheet distort space-time? No, I don't think so. Yeah, the book's been out 2,000 years, but you would be amazed at how many people haven't taken reading it seriously. It is an awesome shirt, isn't it? These are the shirts I wear over top of my Y-back muscle shirts to the gym. It's always something about God or Jesus. You know, I've got the one that said, you know, the devil saw me with my head put down and thought he'd won. And then he heard me say, amen. I've got 100 of these shirts, and they're all badass as hell. I mean, this one's just badass and kind of like what it says, and sort of like the washed, broken down look of the words, kind of like been through it kind of thing. But there's like some awesome graphics. You've seen some of the ones I've got. Some of them are just words that say, you know, Noah was a conspiracy theorist and then it rained. I love shirts like this. It is a good shirt. Can you go back and read the super chats? Actually, no, I can't go back and read the super chats. They cut off how far up I can scroll. It is so vitally important to listen. Get dark chocolate from the Dominican Republic. Bruv, why? What are you, a cocoa bean farmer on Dom Rep? Fidel P 3460. Is that your occupation? How would you like to change t-shirt? We've rewritten the final chapter, Ben. That sounds interesting. I don't know what to make of that concept. What's with the evil charging pig? It's a Rottweiler, and it's because I'm the last dog. I love the new nickname. John Ho gave it to me, and it's that last dog, not Timu Wolverine. That's been replaced. Even if y'all are willing to give me Timu Geralt, no, last dog stays. I like it. Evil charging pig. Fuck you. It's red, white, and blue, and it's a Rottweiler, bitch. I am new. You are very interesting. Yeah, just wait. Book is fantastic. I appreciate that. You guys do seem to be absolutely loving the book, and I love that. Did your wife leave you? Oh, bless your heart. I've been a subscriber the longest. Yes, nice shirt. I'm still disappointed he didn't mention you because I believe you deserve to be mentioned. I believe I deserve to be mentioned too, but it'll happen. I have faith. Gotta have faith. Is it about America First and politics, Ben? My first thought this morning. Most of the show, we're talking about the breakdown of relationships and the breakdown of the dating world. And you might be like, Ben, what the hell are you talking about? I assure you, there may be people who have as much modern experience right now, but over the last 5 years since Catherine and I separated, yeah, no, especially if we're talking about man, upper 30s, getting into the 40s, looking for everything from 25 to 40. Yeah, I know as much as anybody in terms of dating in the United States of America. Absolutely, no question. I will throw that. I'm not saying I know more than everyone, but there's like that class of people who really know yes, I'm there. Absolutely. We talk about that, and it's very interesting, and there's some very good and important points that are made. Brett calls me out very significantly a couple of times. Sometimes I think that we had good back and forth. Sometimes there's just no question that he was correct in his calling me out of certain things. And then we dove into why things are the way they are and why they're getting worse. And that's where Brett was actually willing to have a conversation with me. And I think that it's actually possible that if the concepts, this specific show that Brett and I did, I'm not sure it was dedicated enough to that or balanced enough for that. But the concepts that we talk about in terms of everything from what's wrong with love these days to where Nick Fuentes likes to go, the concepts that Brett and I go into are pretty good guardrails for how to move forward here. Thank you for the hippo, Dragonfly. Late to the rodeo. Hi, Birdie. How are you doing? Ben, will you give me a belly rub if we make it through all this mess? I don't even know how to. The field flip, why less than a day on the simulation? I don't know what you're asking me. Are you asking me about the simulation I didn't make? Should Graham Hancock be trusted the same, not be trusted the same? Yeah, I don't. Graham and Randall, respect to what they've done, but at this point, they're doing much more harm than good. What did he say about the Stein thing? You can fucking watch it, Dad Bod, man. Come on, dude. I'm not going to sit here and try to rehash everything Brett and I talked about today. I'm happy to sit here and give you just enough that you're like, I got to watch that show. Yeah, I dangled it in front. Go watch Brett and I. Don't just sit here and ask me what we talked about how long were for 90 minutes today. No, I'm not going to do that. Cheyenne Mountains concern me. We left there because of that in the 80s. Why does Cheyenne Mountain concern you? The places where the government has been like, yo, we need to dig down and be ready to hunker down right here. Where is that? Think. Brett helped. I'm seeing a lot of people say Brett helped them avoid the jab. That's good. Aircrete Harry, did you get my text? I don't know. I might have. I'm getting so many texts I can't keep track of them these days. Tim Pool has been mentioning you a lot lately. I love Tim Pool, and I think most of you guys know I love Tim Pool. Has it been a year already? Since what? Mutton chops. No, I'm not doing mutton chops. Have you lost your mind? Last year's show was great, Ben. I don't know what we're talking about. It's the second person who mentioned last year already. I'm not sure. 3-Eye Atlas will light us up, says Pedro Garcia. I shall be waiting with bated breath, Pedro. I bet you can dance like it's 1999. I assure you, I can. Why are you pale? Why are you old and used up? Shut up, bitch. There's just team good and team bad. That's probably true. Why is there a tidy pig on the itch? Really? I'm going to start blocking these people. Oh, don't worry. They're gone now. What is reading? Fun. Cutie, be happy. Jesus. Is this thing on? No, it's not. You're hallucinating this. You're all having a mass hallucination of me at the exact same time. Thank you for the teal pear, Birdie. I'm starting to feel a little salty. Why are you mad? Oh my God, you're gone. This is ridiculous. Where do you get them? Where do I get what? I don't understand. Do you guys have questions about Earth's disaster cycle or space weather physics or how the climate works? What do you make of NASA's statement about the dent in Earth's magnetosphere that was mentioned on Tim Pool? I'm not sure I actually have... if you're talking about the plasmasphere being compressed down to a fifth of its normal size, that is the top story in tomorrow morning's show. It's just that Tim Pool will just go live with stuff the moment it comes out. That's one of the great things about his show. He can instantly do that. And in theory, I could as well. I do that for solar flares. I do that for tsunamis driven by massive earthquakes as well. I will go live in the moment. Um, for mega news, even like what I'm guessing you're talking about and what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow morning, I'm more than content to save that for the morning show the next day. But it is, yeah. Earth got knocked the fuck out last year. Good thing that was all the sun had. If the sun had thrown one more thing, we wouldn't be talking right now. Is there a connection with disclosure? That's an interesting question. Maybe. Chris Martz just dropped a hilarious meme. I will go look at it tonight. I think Ben is on gummies tonight. No, I am exhausted, actually. It was my posterior chain day. That's squats, that's deadlifts, that's super heavy shoulder shrugs. I am hypertrophied. You know what, dude? Fuck, this is like, I'm sore. I'm not gonna lie. I really do not do too much of the participation in cannabis these days. Right now, I think I would take like a CBD and a low dose THC gummy just because I know it's not gonna jack me up, and it might just make me feel a little better. And I feel the entire posterior chain from my hamstrings up to the traps. It was serious deadlifting day. Oh, it's you, the loser from Twitter. Humble, too. My goodness. You look like you rape kids, magazine dump. I don't know if you do or don't, but like, look at you. Look at your Google eyes and your smile. You look like you fuck kids. Goodbye. Why do you think every simulation by John Ho never shows the Arabian Peninsula? I don't know. You'd have to ask him. Micronova happen, likely microwaves? No. I'm trying to catch up, guys. I promise. I really am. But all right. So now at this point, it looks like I am 7 minutes behind. So I'm really going to go until I see. Yeah, there we go. You said you're not into that music, but also said during a morning show recently that you picked the song for the Jun Ho video very specifically. So why'd you pick that song? Maybe you could listen to the fucking song and figure it out. Because it's not hard to get Shazam in something or ask AI what song that is in the background and then go find the one with words and listen to what the words are, or even just Google what the words to that song are and you can find them that way. Oh, you guys didn't like the picture of me in the wig and what we did for the kids of Fremont County. Yeah, I gotta tell you, the rural, not exactly super affluent Fremont County, I'm starting to get a little soft spot for the kids out there. They really appreciate when like people do stuff for them. Like they're not spoiled. And I have to admit, the ways that Kat and Mike and Barb at the ranch have done outreach and really made us a part of the community, that's something I don't know how to do. I know how to put on the blue wig and dance around like a maniac at a K-pop party for a bunch of kids. I got you. I don't know how to conceptualize even beginning to do stuff like that. They're amazing. I'm asking if you're in agreement with it and why. With what? I don't know. My head's been in literally 800 places in the last 9 minutes. Hey, Ben, just had a kid. Hooray, dude. I'm learning coding to afford to move to the Rockies to be safe. Right on. I would say learn to use AI to code. Definitely. All right, scrolling. I'm going to catch up. Maybe. Probably not. You guys are kicking my ass again. This is the third live stream in a row where literally I've got no answer for your enthusiasm. You guys are, and this is not a bad thing. Like kudos, but you guys are kicking the shit out of me. All right, here we go. Is it more challenging for folks who have to survive the heat, blast, shell impact versus surviving the flood? I don't know. I can't imagine either one is really very fun. Scrolling. Oh, this is good. I'm making headway. There was a long period where nobody did a super chat. Looking bulky, good for you. Big buff Ben is looking super cyan god. I like that. That's funny. Is that a reference to anime stuff? That would be cool. Noah watches that stuff. He likes it. You want the unedited copy of the Adam and Eve story? Well, it's available and you can find it. I wonder maybe if it would be helpful to do the homework. During the last geomagnetic storm, a region of mass power outage at grid level. Yeah, we're talking about that. Appreciate you guys sending them my way. I will sort them out. Sort it out before I sort you out. It's one of my favorite things that I hear in a British movie. It's a fantastic little sentence. Hey, Ben, glad to have found you. Disappointed that your flood model left the Pacific Northwest untouched and had decimated the Midwest. How much of Pacific Northwest will be decimated by the initial inertial wave? None of it. I don't know why y'all people don't listen. Thank you for the teal pear, Shiva. Appreciate it. My hugs are warm and fuzzy, Birdie. I appreciate that. And yes, people are losing their minds. Did you see the volcano in Africa that hasn't erupted in 10,000 years just did? I didn't see that just yet, but welcome to Earth. Welcome to Earth's disaster cycle. Dude, don't let anyone hate you, rock. It's okay. I don't actually let them affect me in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. I just go to the YouTube channel homepage and I look at the stats or one of the mirrors in my home. Or I'll go and I'll read the comments from any number of you, which are extremely wonderful and gracious and complimentary. It's not hard when I need a pick-me-up because I have you guys every day here, Twitter, and wherever. It's not challenging. I usually during the normal hours of the day, if I go to Walmart or Target, I'm getting recognized here in the city. So that's always fun too. I like most of you guys. Most, not all. Thank you for the teal pear, Nana. Indeed, I do have Salt down to a perfection. Favorite K-pop Demon Hunter song? How It's Done, dun, dun. I jammed to that one, I'm not going to lie. When my kids ask me to put that on the car, I'm just like, I'll rock that out. Line them up, back to back. Hey, Ben, do you any doggone deficit deadlifts? Didn't do much in the core, but now they are awesome. Do you do any doggone deficit deadlifts? I don't know what a deficit deadlift is. I do RDLs. I don't even do deadlifts, actually. So forgive my just loose tongue earlier. I did back squat, RDL, and super heavy shrugs today. I much prefer RDLs. There is something about when the weights touch the floor, it is interruptive enough to me and my flow that it feels wrong to try to, like, okay, rekajigger and come back up again. No, like I like when I'm feeling that stretch, specifically where the hamstring and glute meet. And I'm bringing the bar down half an inch away from my body, down the legs. And then at that tightness, when the hamstring's tight at the bottom, pause for 1 to 2 seconds. And then not jerkingly, but good explodingly back up. I love a good RDL. I think it is the best of the deadlift-like movements. Obviously, this is a hill I'll die on, and I have very strong opinions on it. RDLs for the W. I love it when you get mean when motivating us to be serious about survival. Yeah, I enjoy it too. It's fun. What's life without whimsy? Grok is coding for me. That's good. Probably a good idea. Got my book a few weeks ago. Ah, yes. The Alberta Postal Strike. Glad you finally got it. Katie Light, hello. When do I get to hug you? You're wonderful. Huge volcanic eruption in Ethiopia. Okay, I'll look. Joe. It's part of my morning thing to look for volcanoes anyway, so. Ben, what would you change, improve, add to the observer mission if working capital was not an issue? I have really dialed in what the lessons and the classes and the seminars and the conferences and the teaching of the event and the survival need to be. Unfortunately, I either sacrifice myself and my family or I have to charge you guys for this stuff. And the reality is that forever I have charged a fraction of what most scientific conferences or group meetings or big events or summits or other things like that charge. And, you know, the world is the world in 2025. For those of you who have looked into coming to the ranch this next year, you know, it's not outrageous beyond everything else. It's outrageous compared to the way we have tried to be in the past, which is as cheap as humanly possible. Now we are on par with what we should be, and it makes me feel icky. It's appropriate. It's literally market appropriate. And the way the tickets are selling tells me it's market appropriate, but it doesn't change the fact that I don't wish it weren't different. I wish I could make it so anybody who can get a free weekend off can come to the ranch and see some of this stuff. There's so much, there's a give and take that has had to happen every time we elevate, every time we go a next level, every time we make it bigger, every time it's more comprehensive. There's another element to it that makes it a little harder to get from me to you. And I hate that. If capital was not an issue, what is that? Oh, block that user. All right. Can we block Wild DeFi 3894? What a fucking bitch. Ben, did the suits visit again? I don't know what that means. No. The guy who came to visit me was more like a ghost. All right. I'm going to try to catch up because I'm falling behind again. Any thoughts on how much the Earth rotation might speed up? Oh, he's asking, like, could it be like a full, like, 23-hour day? I don't know. I really don't know. I do know that there are some scriptures about it, and people do have ideas. I can't say that I do. I know you said black holes don't exist, but what does that mean? Event horizon is not real. Correct. That is exactly what that means. Nice. Appreciate that, Naomi. What determines the BZ during a CME impact, and why did it flip so fast during the triple punch recently? What determines the BZ is just, all right, so for example, if I was to throw a baseball and you were to say, as it's crossing home plate, what determines where the red stitch marks are? You'd be like, I guess how it was thrown and how it was twisting on its way to home plate, right? I mean, I don't know if you can say like specifically more than that. It's okay. The CME was launched and the plasma's corkscrewing through space towards us, and whichever way it is when it gets to Earth is the way it is. If it had gotten here an hour earlier, the angle might have been a little different in the magnetic field. Yeah, I wish it was easier than that, but so much of this is a crapshoot. I'm trying to catch up. I'm going to catch up. Scrolling. Did I catch up? Fuck you. Yes. Yes. I did it, Mom. I've caught up at the 55-minute mark. It's possible I may speak with this accent for the remainder of the show. Wait a minute. Did I scroll past a comment from Liz Sapp? Hello, Liz. Darling, good to see you. It's been a while. Who else have I missed here? You're clearly a Cornhusker fan. You're too disabled to visit the ranch. I don't think you are. You should see some of the visitors we've had here. I'm not joking. Ben, I feel you are a frustrated soul trying to educate all of us. Hang in there. Frustrated doesn't begin to describe what I am. Is the geomagnetic excursion the reason why major weather phenomena are drifting east? It's part of it, yeah. Accent says close the show. Yeah, no kidding. If I don't get some good questions here in just a second, I'm going to close the show. Micronova, microwaves, what's the relationship, if any? None. This is the second time I've seen that in the show. The word micro is the only thing that micronova and microwaves have in common. That's it. Anyway. Yeah. You guys have derailed as well here in the chat. Oh, shit. And of course, somebody writes a nice long question as soon as I say that. With the most recent bombardment we took from the sun, has the timeline changed at all, or has it confirmed your current timeline? I'm still pretty solid on it. I'm still very much solid on it. K5 incoming question mark. Hey, how about you go back and watch the beginning of the show? Schmidt 1013. Yeah. I'm sorry you've been feeling awful since that solar storm. I still think that the big stuff's happening in the 2040s. I still think that there's a very good chance that civilizational collapse happens in the 2030s, as early as 2030. I can't get more specific than that. I'm not one of those people who claims to have like a secret message or like a special connection with like an alien or something else like that. I don't have any secret knowledge. I'm doing the best I can with the available math and data and the science. And it's helpful that my brain is interestingly broken in a minor way that allows me to see things differently than most of you do. It's not always a good thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. Now it's a good thing right now. Anyway, Ben, you know my schedule. If I'm in San Diego or Vegas, can I get a ticket last minute? Maybe, if there's a ticket left. San Diego, I'm almost certain there should be room. Vegas isn't until March. Who the hell knows? I mean, but for San Diego, we're less than 3 weeks out, and last time I checked, we were 75% full. You'd probably be okay. But you know what you're going to do, Barbarian. You're not going to pull it off to come to San Diego, and so you're going to be relying on Vegas. You're going to have to make it happen. You know that's what's going to happen, Barb. Frustrating would be doing all this and none of us, the audience, prepare. Yeah, that would be frustrating, but I don't know if you are preparing. Goal 2026, minimum 3 trips to the ranch. Father's Day weekend, ? Bringing my boys, a must. Let's go. That's interesting. I actually don't know if I have the kids on Father's Day weekend. I don't know what's happening on Father's Day weekend at the ranch, actually, off the top of my head. Yellowstone super volcano is a real thing, is going to wipe out everything. Is it going to? No. Bobo, I can tell you must be kind of new here because I've talked about Yellowstone about 1,000 times. It's broken. Don't live on the downslope. It can bubble over effusively. It can't have a super eruption. Not for thousands of years, anyway. Ben is done. Done, done. You're not wrong, man. And well done on that, by the way. That was clever. What do micronovas and microscopes have in common? What about microchips? Okay, now you're being mean. Say by some chance we do manage to get a few people living on the moon before the micronova. What happens to the people, buildings, and the moon? I would not want to be on the moon. We're on the planet we want to be on. Make no mistake about that. Did sharks survive the 5 extinctions? I think they did. Yes. What's with the triangle-shaped coronal holes? I don't know. You could ask the sun. And I'm a 69. That's fantastic. I appreciate that. I'm not reading that. Had a wonderful time at the experience. Joe and I camped out on top. Alon plays amazing music. Yes, he does. And I recommend all to visit the ranch. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Digital money, useless in grid failure. Sell. Okay, man. Tardigrades, question mark. That's not actually a question. Just putting a question mark at the end of a singular word does not make it a question. All right, guys. All right, who is this now? All right, Birdie again. Yes. Time for overthinking to end. We're going to sleep. Good night, everyone. I will see you in the morning where, as I mentioned, there's a fucking bombshell of a top story.